immediately wastelanded,
Right.
and then use Weathered Wayfarer next turn to go grab another wasteland.
Yeah, should have tried to chain. Oh, what's going on?
Can you hear, Rashad?
I think. One of the two cards that John drew off of the Fathom Seer was a Burrowington Force Tender, which isn't in his main deck. It's actually in his sideboard. So John actually is calling the judge on himself to let the judge know that that should have been in his sideboard. So we get to see if John's honesty pays off in any way. In my opinion, like if I were head judging this tournament, I like to give my players an incentive for, if they make a mistake, let me know and call a judge on themselves. Because if you give John, if you say, okay, thanks for calling a judge on yourself, John, but it's still a game loss and I'm going to stick with the penalty guidelines, then there's really no incentive for John to do that another time. Because there's no real way.
You're actually giving him incentive to do the opposite.
Right.
Which is not what you want.
Which isn't what you want. The only incentive now to not cheat is that you could get caught cheating. I like there to be more incentive where if you catch something that only you can catch, and then you tell us about it, they tell the judges about it, I would be very inclined to say, okay, I'll lower the penalty instead of it being a game loss, warning, and try to fix it.
If you were to give, in this case, a warning, what would you do with that Burrowington Force Tender? It just stays.
For the Burrowington Force Tender.
Blame's on you. Rushing me through that win last round.
I guess that's a good question. I think what I would do is.
It's true.
I guess you could take, if it's just that one card that was sideboarded out, you could try to fix fix the deck, the cards that should be in the main deck, and re-randomize the deck.
Put 2 random cards from his hand back, and then.
Well.
Because he's already drawn those cards.
Yeah, but he went, hey, I'm not supposed to have this card.
Okay.
So we know the card that he shouldn't have, and if there are more of those in his deck, we could just fix his deck and re-randomize the deck.
Looks like Tom Ross didn't show up to this event because Play and Ticket was a little too much. Would have loved to have him here.
Okay, so it's actually still going to be a game loss.
Okay. So unfortunately, John loses that game.
And they thanked John for calling the judge on himself. Thanks for calling the judge, but it's still a game loss, which is the way that the penalty guidelines work. So.
My question.
Head judge stuck with the IPG, which is
really that's me.
Which is perfectly fine. That is actually in general, if all judges stick to the IPG, then all tournaments everything in every tournament would happen exactly the same way. But it is a head judge discretion to, do something that the IPG doesn't say.
And you think that at least for a head judge, they should change how that works? Like, you think that that's not how it should have played out?
No, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that if I were the head judge, I would be inclined to not give the game loss. Yeah. But giving the game loss is fine. I don't think that it's a unfair. I don't think it's an unfair ruling. I just it's still the player's responsibility to de-sideboard.
I drew up bad also.
Yeah, do you want to say something about it?
No, we heard it all. They heard it all too.
I thought to myself.
Huh? Because the player mics. I can hear the player mics.
Thanks, Dick.
Yeah, we'll save the embarrassment later. Yeah, a little bit.
So let's see what these players are sideboarding. I'm sure that Burrowington Force Center goes right in along with the Tormod's Crypt.
I'm going to run to the bathroom. And why don't you tell everybody what we have coming up on March 13th?
Well, I hear that there's going to be another one of these StarCityGames.com $10,000 tournaments in Indianapolis on March 13th and 14th. On March 13th, it's going to be a standard. On March 14th, it's going to be Legacy, just like here in Richmond. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, come on down, take your share of the $10,000, and get your share of the Star City Games Open points. There are a bunch of cash tournaments in the U.S. this year, but only the StarCityGames.com $10,000 Open Series gives you the Star City Games Open points, which allow you to qualify for the Invitational at the end of the year, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, right back here in Richmond, Virginia. And if, for example, you aren't in the Indianapolis area, be sure to check out both the text coverage at StarCityGames.com and our live coverage from GG's Live at GG'sLive.com. So, if you're around that area, be sure to check out Indianapolis's Star City Games Open. And if you're not, be sure to tune in to GG's Live. Also, let's see if I can get a good look at what these players are mulliganing. I think they just finished mulliganing. They're just shuffling up. So while we wait for them, just want to say, you may have seen our tokens in the feature match area earlier today, or in earlier GG's Live. A lot of people come up to us at events and ask us, how do we get these tokens? Or a lot of people on the chat ask us how people get these tokens. One of the ways is if you come to one of the GG's Live events, the events that we're covering, and just come up to either Rashad or I, or Ray, or Peter Martinez, or Kyle Meckler, and be like, hey, I want some tokens. We'll be happy to give them to you. Or you can help us bring you more GG's Live, and go to ggslive.com and click the donate button. And as a token, you get it, of our appreciation.
I don't get it. What did you do there?
As a token of our appreciation, we'll send you some tokens.
You're so punny.
I am.
You see what I did there?
I saw tokens like Rashad eating a hat,
or me eating other things like a pretzel, carrot stick.
But yeah, we really appreciate everybody tuning in, and if you guys like GG's Live as much as we do, perhaps you could donate a little money and help us fly out to the Grand Prix events and other events. Help us bring you more GG's Live.
Yay for GG's Live.
So the players are drawing their opening hands.
Where's the box of tokens?
I think got taken.
Someone steal all the tokens? Come on. Oh, man.
Looks like a mulligan quickly.
No. He said he's going down. I'm going down. You probably don't know. You're not down with Mary J. Blige?
Negative.
I'm going down.
James said he was keeping, though, his 7-card hand?
Yeah, he's keeping because he's not mulliganing. New rules. Come on now. Simultaneous mulligans. What did I do with those? I put them in something.
You put them in that Walmart bag.
Oh, I think I put them in... They're over here.
Rashad is going behind the scenes and trying to find some tokens. Yep, he looks like he found the box of tokens. So.
Not that anyone uses tokens in Legacy, but...
You take a look. So...
This just in, Colossal Fuentes is dead in the tournament.
Not in real life.
Not in real life.
But looks like, as we say this, Jonathan's mulling down to 5 cards. Unfortunate for him after he called the judge on himself.
And got a game lost. Now he's mulliganing to 5.
Jonathan called the judge on himself because he forgot to be bored and got a game lost because of it.
This is honestly I like that other one.
Yep. But you think that this matchup isn't too good for him?
I don't think it is in general because he's a small creature deck, and there's Seismic Assault, Devastating Dreams, Burning Wish for Pyroclasm probably. There's a bunch of bad spells. And there's Goyf, but you know what? I mean, Goyf can get Swords of Plowshares. That's not a problem. The problem is not being able to have creatures in play when you're the no Goyf player.
No Goyf is playing against Aggro.
Aggro Loam. Yeah, this is one of those situations where no Goyf actually needs Goyf.
Sure.